G'day guys, so today we're going to be talking about the barbell overhead military press. Because we are standing, we have a lot of joints at play, so we need to make sure that we are shoring up absolutely every avenue before we go and execute this lift. Also, compared to our seated military press, we are going to make sure that our abs are nice and blocked up, and the reason being is because if we arch too far back with our stabilizing of our scapula, we will end up loading up our lower joint through the midline of through the middle of our back. So how do we want to set this up? Well, first things first, we want to make sure that with our hands we're actually coming in a little closer than a thumb width. So we're probably coming in nice and where the knurl meets the smooth stuff, we're coming in about there. From here we're going to have our elbows tuck in under the bar. So from this position we're coming under and tucking under the bar. Now, because this is a shoulder exercise, a pressing exercise, we want to pull our shoulder blades back and down. But if you look at this, when I do this and pull them back and down while standing up, you can see that all this is exposed. Now, if we're pushing force forward, we are going to end up potentially pushing out a hernia. Now, that's a very fast stretch. However, over a period of time with potential weakening of our abdominals, it is a possibility. So what we want to do is that whilst we pull our shoulder blades back and down, we actually want to think about taking this top rib down to our top of our pelvis. So we're going to go like this as well. And we're going to block that up. The best way to describe this to you is as if I'm going to punch you in the tummy, you're going to block that up. You're going to brace for that impact. That's how I want you to be. So we're going to create almost like a square through our midsection. So we're going to pull our shoulder blades back and down, and then we're going to block up. Now, if you're finding it hard to block up, another way you can do this is to squeeze your glutes on. This will also stabilize your hips, which is what we want to do anyway. We want to take care of our hips, our knees, and our feet. So we're going to screw our feet in slightly, we're going to lock our knees out, we're going to squeeze our glutes on. From this position, shoulder blades are back and down, and then we're going to block up. This takes out all momentum of the game, and it makes it a clean press. So again, we'll set up our hands. Hands just where the knurl meets the smooth stuff. We're going to roll our elbows underneath, and we're going to come and stand up. We're going to pull our shoulder blades back and down. We're going to screw our feet in. Our knees are going to be locked, and we're going to block up. From this position, I'm going up and above my head. So 3, 2, 1, up and above my head, down, and then down to my chest. Up and above my head, down to the chest. With the finish point, we're looking to get as if I've got a string line that's running like I'm a puppet and it's holding my head up. That's the point that we want to finish at. We don't want to end up pressing the bar so that we're coming out like this, okay? Too many of us end up going out like this. Now, as soon as we do that, what ends up happening is we start arching and we think that we're pressing above our head, but the fact of the matter is that we're just loading this little this spinal joint here. Again, this is why we need to make sure that we're blocked up, is because if I load up here, you can see all that force wants to travel down and through this area there. This ends up being absolutely prone for injury. So we want to make sure that by blocking up and pressing that bar above our head, that we place all that force traveling down through our body, rather than if we're arching back and it's all through your lower back. Team, that there is how you, one more thing. When we are coming down, a lot of people will end up coming at right angles. So they'll come down to, say, their chin and come back up again. Now, we want to take this movement as much through its full range of motion as possible. So if that means that you can get down to your chest and press back up again, that's where we want you to take the bar. If you're finding that your shoulder's impinging, it shouldn't, because your shoulder blades should be back and down, should be opening up that shoulder joint. But if they are, then take it to the point in which you're feeling still in control, still strong, still stable, and then press back up again. So whether that be down to chin line, nose line, what have you. And then potentially take your hands out a little wider just to open up that joint a little bit more. But ideally, I would like you in nice and close, shoulder blades back and down, block up, press straight above your head. So that there is how you do a standing military barbell press.